Hi everyone, welcome. I think today we're going to do this sack. I think this is one of my larger sacks, or it looks kind of like a small one. I can't remember what size it is. I usually like to find me a base to start with, and then I start gluing or stamping. In this case I'm getting ready to stamp some writing on it in kind of the background. Some of it gets covered up anyway, but that's okay. Just kind of give it some a little bit of background there. That paper, I think I had maybe used watercolor to decorate that, just on some watercolor paper, and was kind of just messing around and saved it, and it turned out that it matched the picture that I was going to use. I'm just going to start with this focal point picture that I have, and again I usually, like I said, get all of my pictures from Creative Fabrica. I pay for a subscription, so it's easy to go in there and just download them and print them off on my home computer. I like to put a little bit of the inking around the sides to give it kind of an antique stressed look. While you're watching this, I normally or haven't ever done a voiceover, and that's what this is now, and you'll have to let me know if you like it better when I talk. I just worry that I might ramble on too much when I actually talk when I'm filming it, so let me know if you like this voiceover. Okay, here's my focal point. It has to do with tea, kind of a tea time. I thought it would make a good sack for if you were given a gift, like for maybe a teacup and a saucer or something like that. And that's my doily, which I think it's a paper doily. I think that I had tie-dyed that too, or I guess it's not called tie-dye, it's called tea-dyed it. And then I add a little bit of that gold in there. I think that kind of matches and makes it a little bit brighter. These are some pages out of a book that is already pretty aged, as you can see. It's in French. I happened to go to an estate sale one time and found a lot of books. The lady had been to Paris and different places, and she was actually music, so I have a lot of music also that's in French. Now I'm just taking it, and I put a little bit of glue there, and just use my pencil. I'm gonna try to roll this up and make a couple of scrolls to add to it, kind of give it a little bit dimension. It's not hard to do. I just glue each side there and then pull the pencil out. You could use any size you wanted to. The pencil seemed to be a good size for me. I tried a smaller one but I couldn't get the pencil out, and I thought, okay, we won't do that. So we'll do another one here so that we'll have maybe just two. I think 3 is probably a better number, but on this smaller sack, I think this 2 would probably look good without having to do a third one. Once you get them started, they just roll, but sometimes the hardest part is just getting them started. Okay, they're kind of long, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut them off. You can cut them off, I guess, before you roll them, but I wasn't sure what size I was going to need. And again, I'm just kind of laying everything out before I actually start gluing and putting everything down, and it gives me time to change things or decide that I like something better. that one seems a little bit still too long, so I just cut it off a little bit more. And then I have some jute string that I decided I just tie that around the two of them to keep them together, and then we'll end up just, putting some glue there. And you can age them if you want to with that inking. Make them even look older, I guess. Like I said, the paper was pretty kind of yellowed anyway and old looking, but never hurts to add just a little bit more. And here's where I just decided I'm going to tie, just put them together, make it easier to glue them down. Put a bow on top and then find something maybe to put on top of that. These scissors that I have are not my favorite scissors. They're really dull, but I eventually get it cut. I can't seem to find my other ones. They're probably just lost on the desk somewhere. I usually have lots of scissors, but for some reason I couldn't find any but those little small ones. They're not very sharp. Okay, I think that I have an idea how I want to get it all glued down, so I'll just go ahead and start. I don't know if I use tea or coffee. I guess it gives you the same effect when I dye those. I usually have lots of leftover coffee in the morning, so I just pour it in a little tub and put a lid on it and let it set for a couple of days, and then just dry it out. I actually have a sister whose birthday's coming up in September, and she loves her tea and teacups, so this might just end up being a nice little gift for her. I'll pick up some teacups at the thrift store. I don't know if you guys like to thrift things, but I love to go thrifting, and I get a lot of my craft supplies actually at the thrift stores. It's amazing what you can get. I got that down, and I'm trying to move it because it's crooked. I tried, but that glue can handle just taking it up and kind of straighten it out there a little bit. That's one of the reasons I like that glue, because it doesn't set just immediately, so you can kind of reposition things. I have this little tag. It says tea time, and I thought that would be perfect to set at the top there. And then I have my paper that's, when you rip it, it's kind of feathered on the edges and stuff. It just gives a little bit more interest. Instead of just gluing it down to the page and making it look real flat, I just like to put something under there. Kind of makes it, highlights it a little bit better, I guess. I think that one piece was a little bit bigger, so that'll work better. You know, a lot of these sacks, the ones that I show you, I try to just, make it for people who are just starting out and are beginners, and so I don't have a lot of different techniques that I've started using, but there's a lot more that you can do. There's a lot more that you can add. Have that modeling paste that put a stencil down, and that always looks nice, or even more stamping. That's my Fabrifix glue, which I like to use for a little bit heavier things, and it takes pretty quick. It's not, it's not, I guess it doesn't take as quick as what hot glue does, but I haven't had any problem with anything falling off using that. I really like it. Here's some of that sheet music that I said I got from that estate sale where the lady used to, I think she played the piano or something, and did concerts, I suppose is what you say, and I got a lot of sheet music from her sale and things. I think, I need to draw, I have a heart stamp, but I think I'll just draw it because it's a little bit smaller. My heart stamp is really kind of too big. And then I have another one that's probably too small, so I just draw it out, cut it out. It just takes a few seconds. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think that'll go there really good, and then I'll probably, let's put some more ink around it, age it a little bit. Use my Fabrifix glue again just to make sure that it doesn't get knocked off there. My glues, I just get them on Amazon. I don't know, I'm sure there's maybe hobby stores that sell them. I don't know. If I can order something on Amazon, it just makes it easier. Usually when you go in, at least our Hobby Lobby that we have, it is huge. And you walk and you walk and you walk. And if you're not in there very often, you really don't know where anything is. And so you can spend a lot of extra time in there. And I don't know, I just would rather sit in my chair and just order it. Have it delivered straight to my door. I think that's pretty much all on there. There's, like I said, you can make tags for it that kind of match it, which I may do a video on that one day. That's the zip tie. That's the little white glue that I use. I put it in a smaller container just so that it's easier to use, and I just put it on with that, and it really does stay on. It's pretty good glue. I like it. I know there's a lot of different ones that people use, but I kind of started using that one. But maybe I guess what I was saying was on the tags, I could do a video on that, one time, and you can make those ahead of time if you wanted to. There's tons of different ways to make tags or even tie bows at the top. I have some ribbons and different things like that. I didn't on this one, but before I give it as a gift, I can tie something on there and put a little tag on there. I think that would do it. Probably be a pretty good gift to give someone. I would think they would be very happy to receive something like that. They can re-gift it then, or sometimes people use them in their junk journals, maybe cut off the front or just stick the whole thing in your junk journal. I think here I try to put some tissue paper in it to give you an idea, but I kind of get it where it's off the screen, but you get the idea. I use that tissue paper I got off Amazon also, and I ordered it because I thought that it matched really well, but you could use any kind of tissue paper. Alright, I hope that you guys leave me comments. I love to read people's comments. Just letting me know if you enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll make you your own gift bag next time that you need to give a gift. Alright, thank you for watching.